Hi everyone, I've had some questions about how to do this week's discussion, so I just wanted to walk you through it a little bit. Basically, I'm asking you to try and think about how likely achieving the American dream is. And I've given you some links to get some information and some data and answer some of the discussion questions. So just to kind of walk you through those links, the first one is this interactive map of the nation, and it talks about how likely you are to do better than your parents. So I'll give you an example. If we were to take, trying to find College Station. If your parents make $16,000 in College Station, they're within the 10th percentile of earners. What that means is that they're in the bottom 10th percentile. They're on the low end of wage earners. The arrow points to how your children might end up doing. And basically what it says is that if your parents are earning $16,000 a year, that puts them in the bottom rung of wage earners, but you're likely to earn a little bit more and move up to the 36th percentile of wage earners, meaning that 35% of the population earns less than you. And what is it, 64% of the population earns more than you. So 27% of people who have parents that earn $16,000 a year are likely to be at this between the 20th and the 40th percentile. 32% are to stay between the 1st and the 20th percentile. And again, what that means is 32% of all children whose parents earn the $16,000 are likely to stay in the bottom of the income brackets in the United States. 8% are likely to be in the top 20% of earners. Now these, I'll give you an example. These ranges, 80 to 99, 60 to 80, 40 to 60, what you might recognize already is that they're broken into 20 percentile, 20% increments. And basically those are called quintiles. And when we look at poverty in the United States, we tend to look at it in terms of quintiles or 20% ranges. So again, just to give you an example, if you're at the 40th percentile, you're in the second quintile, the lower middle quintile, and 40% of the population earns less than you. If you're in the 60th, then 59% of the population earns less than you. The 80th percentile, 79% of the population earns less. 99th, 98% of the population earns less than you. What I want you to see is that as you move up, say a family that makes $50,000 a year, the likelihood that their children will become among the top 20th percentile of wage earners is it's pretty even. That they're at least going to do as well. 22% of their children are going to do as well. 21% are going to do better. 21% are going to do very well and be among the top earners. But on average, when we average 21, 21, 22, 19, 17, there's a 47th percentile, meaning that they hit pretty much right at the middle. And we would call this lateral mobility, that children of those who make at 50%, at $50,000 a year, or at the 42nd percentile, their children are likely to not go too much higher or too much lower. They're likely to remain kind of have lateral mobility or remain at the same economic position of their parents. So play with this and see how it changes. Again, those who are in the 99th percentile of wage earners, children, 36% of their children are likely to be top earners. And you can see the distribution there. So just kind of play with that and look and see what happens. Is it more likely that someone who comes from an impoverished home is to become among the top earners? Or is it more likely that someone who is among the top earners remains among the top earners? If you kind of get a sense of those questions, you'll understand what I mean. The second calculator that I've given you is called What's My Percent? I'm sorry, that's the wrong. I've changed it from What's My Percent to this one that is from the New York Times, and it's a little bit better. Okay, and what this does is this allows you to insert a household income, let's say $50,000, and we get to see the percentile of people who earn that much money. So the last interactive map showed you what percentile you'll be in. This one is a little bit better at showing you how much money is actually associated with that percentile. And you can see that it differs across country. So if I earn $50,000 in Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm earning more than 43% of the population. If I earn that in, let's see, College Station's in there somewhere, I'm earning more than 39% of the population. In Houston area, I'm earning more than 45% of the population, so that means Houston has an income that's generally lower than both College Station and Dallas, because a greater percentage of people are earning less than me. So what I wanted you to do is look at these two interactive maps and think about how likely it is to move up or down in terms of economic position. Is upward mobility more likely than downward mobility? Who's moving up and who's moving down? Look at the amount of money that might put one in the upper quintile or the top 20%, or the amount of money that might put one in the lower end of the percentile rankings. And then I also want you to look, both of these maps allow you to kind of look across country or in different parts of the country. So maybe you can look in California. I spent some time in Massachusetts. I might be interested in looking at Massachusetts. So you can see how these things differ depending on where you are, and we do see that actually the likelihood that we'll be able to achieve the American dream does differ a lot by where we grow up. The same is true here. You can look from area to area within this interactive map. So kind of I want you to get a sense of how certain areas are, in certain areas it might be more likely that you can achieve economic success than others. The last one I want you to look at is actually, just a New York Times article based on the data of the percentile map, of the one about upward mobility. So it's based on this. The data that supports this interactive map is actually discussed in this article. And what I want to get at while you're looking at this article is basically, how does the article frame achievement? Is it positive? Is mobility common? Is it uncommon? And then I want you to compare that with actually looking at that map. So is the article true to what the data in the map is telling you? And that's basically what I want you to have some sense of by the time you read all of that. The answers in your discussion don't have to be perfect. I just want to see you actually working with the ideas and working with some of the maps and trying to figure this out, for yourself and explore this for yourself. I'm not testing you on whether you get it right or wrong. I'm testing you, or I'm interested in seeing you think through some of these issues. So I hope you enjoy it. I like playing with these maps, and I hope you all do too.